po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show. Today, I have a very exciting, interesting, and very intelligent lady. I'm so honored to have here with me Miss Danielle Dimartino Booth, CEO of Quill Intelligence, and she will be talking to us about it and also her recent book entitled Fed Up. So let's hear from here. Welcome to our show. She just flew in. She just flew in from where?
I just flew in from Dallas, Texas.
From Dallas, Texas to Chicago, just to be in this interview, and also to be a keynote speaker in one of the functions later today. So we have to hurry up. Okay, welcome to our show,
so happy
Danielle.
to be here.
I like your name too. So Danielle, I don't know where to start. I was reading about your bio on the internet, but anyway, you're here to be speaking on what occasion?
Well, I'm here today to talk about where we are in the global cycle, because we have many changes that are underway with our central banks. As of the 1st of October, the Federal Reserve here, where I used to work for almost a decade, they will be increasing the pace of their quantitative tightening to $50 billion a month. And the $50 billion a month run rate will be the record pace. And at the same time, Mario Draghi at the European Central Bank will be reducing the size of the purchases to expand the Eurozone Central Bank to the lowest rate until his quantitative easing program ends at the end of this year. So we're at a very critical crossroads right now, because we've had almost a decade of central banks basically printing money out of thin air, and now we're going to where we'll have a net negative run rate. So very interesting times. The world has become accustomed to an overabundance of dollar and euro funding, and now we're seeing a big switch, which is having quite the impact in the emerging markets world.
Which is bad news, right?
Well, it has not been good news for many countries. Clearly, Turkey, Argentina, the Philippines, Indonesia, many countries all over have been affected, because it's the opposite of all of the dollars that have been flowing into the world. Now they're starting to be pulled out of the world, and we're learning that what we have to have as financial markets and economies, what our oxygen is liquidity in dollars.
So what could be done to solve this problem?
Well, I think it's going to depend more than anything on the reaction of other global economies and whether or not there is what we call the contagion effect. If the problems are limited to individual countries, and we have seen in the past few months that as turbulent as things have been in Turkey, that really there has not been any spillover to other countries. And as bad as things have gotten in Argentina with the devaluation of their currency, that we really haven't seen the global economy become affected. I think in order for the Bank of Japan and for the European Central Bank and for the United States Federal Reserve to have a shift in their policy, that there would have to be many countries impacted at the same time. And so far we haven't seen that.
Wow. In other words, you think Federal Reserve in this country is bad for this country? And also like the central banks in the Philippines, which is equivalent to the Federal Reserve here, is also bad?
Well, I think that the solution after the great financial crisis, even the solution after the Asian crisis of 1997, 98, 20 years ago, I think the solution has been to try and alleviate a problem created by too much debt, by creating more debt. And this is not a problem, this is not the way that we should have to find forward progress with economies. But yet, we find ourselves on the other end of $22 trillion in global quantitative easing. These are numbers that are very hard to put into context. We're talking about almost half of global domestic product, half of the economic output of the world in debt that's been created to try and solve a problem that was created in the first place because there was too much debt.
Wow, that's one thing that is really a simple person like me cannot understand.
Well,
Cannot
it's
comprehend.
it's easy for you to
actually.
understand though. If you have too much fire, you don't put oil on the fire to make the fire go
Correct,
out.
correct.
It's
You
very
can-
simple to think about it.
Yeah, you can state it that way, but many people really don't understand. Most of all, we are not economists, we are not politicians, and you know, sometimes it's really beyond our comprehension. But I know what you're talking about.
Yes. Well, we've seen it play out. We've seen it play out beyond the economic arena. We've seen it play out with Brexit in the United Kingdom. We've seen it play out with the election of Donald Trump in the United States. Because when you have the solutions that we've been using for the past 10, 20 years, what you end up doing is have more of the riches and the wealth flow to the very top percentile of the wealthy, and less go through to the everyday working man and woman.
Which is really bad.
It is really bad.
Really bad.
It is.
Well,
It's a good word for it.
Yes. So let's go back to your to Quill Intelligence. What is Quill Intelligence?
Well, when I finished writing Fed Up and it was published, I found that the reception was far beyond my world. It wasn't just people in economics. It wasn't just people in the financial markets. I wrote the book so that it could be accessible to anybody. And
For the layperson.
For the layperson, exactly. And so what I conceived with Quill Intelligence was finding a research company that had a daily newsletter that was just as accessible as what the book Fed Up was. So we published something called the Daily Feather. It's meant to be very light, and it is meant for all audiences. It's $25 a month, and we publish every single trading day of the year, and the reception has been phenomenal because, again, we're not trying to put things into language that people can't understand. We're trying to make
Correct.
economics
That's
and
what I was-
finance
Yeah.
translatable for the average working man and woman, for the lay person.
So this is for our membership only, right? You have to be a member.
It's a subscriber, yes,
Yeah.
but it's $25 a month. It's the cost of it's the cost of you and me sharing lunch
It's-
in
it's-
Chicago and us splitting the bill.
It's online. Too?
It's online, yes, at
Online.
quillintelligence.com. Yes,
All right, sounds good.
we're having very good success.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
And how about the Fed Up book? How
Fed
is
Up
it
went
doing?
to 22 on Amazon's bestseller list worldwide, and we recently were able to say that we had more book reviews on Amazon than Ben Bernanke did for his memoir. So we're very proud, and the book continues to enjoy wonderful success, and now it's making its way into the classroom. So high school economics classrooms, college economics classes as well. So very proud.
Amazing. How do you find time for yourself? So pretty, so beautiful,
And for children.
and for children. Oh my God! Oh, you almost fell.
Something tells me that in every country there's a saying, it takes a village.
All right.
In my world, it takes a village.
It takes a village.
It does. But financial literacy is a worldwide mission, and I'm not going to stop until we're all financially literate.
Where do you plan to go from here? After
Well,
all this?
there's a very big Federal Reserve meeting, so I'm headed straight from here to New York, where I always am, where I give live reaction to whatever happens at the Fed's big meeting. So,
All right. I'm not going to take too long of your time. Well, one last word for our viewing audience.
Yes.
Listen
Well,
to this very beautiful lady.
what I would have to say is that people ask me all the time, what is the best place to invest my money? And my answer is always, the best place to invest your money is in your peace of mind. If you don't have any debts, then you have free cash flow, and free cash flow frees you to where then you can ask me, where do I invest my money? Once you're free of debt, then you ask the question, but not until then.
All right. I like that wise, wise
you.
word.
Thank you.
I think we're trying to live by that
Good.
these days.
Good, good.
Me and Joe. And wow, I'm really delighted to have you
The
in
honor
our
was all
show.
mine. Thank you.
Danielle Martino Booth, not Martini.
Martinis later.
Martini later. All right, Danielle, thank you for gracing our show today. And how I wish I could talk to a woman like you every day.
Thank you so much.
I will be learning something about money smart. Right? All right. Ito po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.